Welcome to Canine Revolution Radio. Presented by Canine Revolution Dog Training, enhancing the dog and owner relationship through education, balance, and pack instinct.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Canine Revolution Radio.
Tone it down.
We're your hosts, Chad, Chris, Kevin. We got
guys?
Ben with us. He's got a new podcasting microphone set up, and he's super pumped.
Upgrading the equipment, baby.
Upgrading his equipment, so good to go.
Now we feed directly into his ears,
Yeah.
which I'm sure he loves.
Oh, yeah. Especially when Chad starts yelling.
He's adjusting the sound quality because Chris is a yeller.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Chris is
So
the
it's all Chris.
actually, Kevin is the one that speaks the loudest. Remember
I
that-
am
remember
partially
that one
deaf.
time?
That's true. That's
Especially
true.
with this infection going on right
That's
now.
true.
I can hear even
Remember
less
that
now.
one time Kevin was yelling across downtown Charleston?
I mean, we were just having a conversation, and then Chad
Kevin's
was
yelling.
Chad's like, yeah, I could hear you all the way across the downtown. Oh.
I can't help what my voice carries. All right.
All right, but today we got a special episode for you guys. We've done this before. What was that, emergency episode?
Yeah, on
Yeah.
the Wolf
Yep.
Wolf
Pack Dynamics.
Pack Dynamics, right? Then we read the chapter on dominant dog, right?
Yep.
That was the
Yep.
emergency episode. So we got another episode.
This one's not an emergency necessarily.
This one's not an emergency.
Well,
This one's just hey.
urgent. It's urgent,
This
but it's
one's
not an
just hey.
emergency.
We were doing our trainer development, and this just struck a chord, and we're like, we got to share this with the world,
Right.
with all of our listeners, with all of our supporters,
That's right.
with the revolutionaries.
that's what we're calling them.
Probably
We
not.
will rise up.
We'll bring it up at the meeting.
Yeah.
All right, team meeting after this, boys. All right. So what we're doing today is we're going to be reading a chapter, discussing a chapter in the book called The Dog's Mind, Understanding Your Dog's Behavior by Bruce Fogle. Is that how you say his name?
Good, looks
Fogle?
good to me.
Good to go.
Yeah, sure.
Chapter 13. We're going to be reading a chapter 13 titled The Mind of the Ill and the Elderly. So we get a lot of questions. Excuse me. Can you cut that out? We get a lot of questions from people asking if their dog's too old for training, if their dog, is too sick for training. Can they be trained doing this? Can they be trained doing that? So this chapter is going to be speaking to that a little bit.
Can you teach an old dog
Can you
new
teach an
tricks?
old dog new tricks? The answer is yes. But anyway, this chapter is going to deep dive into that a little bit and some other information, very, very important. So without further ado, here we go. Diving right into the book with the introduction paragraph. I'm going to read out the introduction paragraph, all right? And here we go. The dog's mind is crafted by the information it receives. Any change in his ability to receive useful information and to process it will affect his behavior. Both the aging process and illness interfere with sensory perception, hormone production, and the ability to communicate, all of which lead to sometimes dramatic changes in a dog's behavior. So we'll stop right there for a second. So basically, he's saying that the dog's mind needs the ability to receive useful information and process it in order to affect his behavior. So what that means is, before we go into detail in the chapter, even if a dog's 15, 16, whatever, as long as they're mentally in good health, and able to receive information and process it, they can learn. You know what I'm saying? If they're so old to where their mind is just going down and that dog's not able to process the information they're receiving, then they probably won't be able to learn a lot, so you're going to be sticking to what that dog already knows. But there are a lot of elderly dogs out there whose minds are still great, still sharp, still able to receive and process information. So that's the gist of it, and we're going to be deep diving into it. All right. So going into the next section called the aging process. Back in the book here, second sentence, it says, memory decays in old dogs, and they do everything more slowly. That includes thinking. So that's something, pause real quick. As a trainer, if you're training a dog, and, we've talked to a lot of people, maybe some people have used other trainers, stuff like that. But if you're a trainer, you have to take that into account.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That they're thinking more slowly. They may be moving more slowly. You may be used to training young, sharp, very agile, fast dogs, but then you get an older dog and you're like, man, this dog's behind schedule, you know, in their training progression. This dog is not up to speed. That may not be the case. It may be because they're just moving slowly. You know, we got a couple older dogs right now, and, you know, I remember a week into their training, you know, the owners are asking, hey, I feel like they haven't learned that much. And I had to explain to them, hey, you know, they're older dogs. They were also struggling with lots of anxiety, but it's like they're older dogs. So, you know, it takes more time to teach the old mind, you know, but they are learning effectively and on their level. And that's the important piece, is customizing what we're doing to that individual dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not like it's a 2-year-old Malinois running agility courses,
Right.
you know?
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
and two, as the trainer, like that's where patience is huge. We've said that in previous episodes. I'm sure you have to have patience with these things, but especially when you compare having those sharp young dogs and you're working with an older dog that's a little bit slower, thinking slower. If you're like trying to lure or something like that, they're just not engaging with you or whatnot, and you just move on. You're like, well, they're not getting it or whatever. You need to take your time, be patient, more so with the elderly dogs. You know?
Absolutely.
So you have that bag of tricks, you know,
That's right.
create behavior in multiple ways. You know, just got to adjust as you work dog to dog.
Yep.
Absolutely. And that takes us into the next sentence, back to the book. He says, we all know, however, that the onset of the aging process and the speed of its progression varies quite dramatically from dog to dog. So again, you know, pausing from the book real quick, again, we're talking about every dog's an individual. Every dog learns a little bit different, you know, and their mental cognition operates just a little bit differently. And, you know, just going through the methods and training different dogs and just building that experience as a trainer is what gives you that ability to adjust on the fly as you're dealing with different dogs. That's why our certification process to certify a trainer is so intense. You know,
That it is.
you know, some companies out there, hey, 2 weeks, you're a dog trainer. Some companies, hey, 300 hours, you're a dog trainer. Kevin?
Say 8 months or
8
so.
months.
Yeah.
You had to
Give or
do X amount of dogs every phase, you know, pass the test, all that kind of stuff. You
Yeah,
know,
this
that way
is-
you're building experience.
Oh, yeah.
you
It's
know.
not a 9 to 5 either.
365, 24/7.
Well, and it doesn't stop there either.
Doesn't stop
like
there,
We're still
no.
learning. That's why we're doing
Yeah.
this.
That's why we do these discussions
Absolutely.
and things. All right, so back to the book here. We're going to jump down 2 paragraphs. And you guys stop me if you have something highlighted in between what I'm going over here. Jump down 2 paragraphs, second sentence. In the book it says, the clock itself is possibly located in the hypothalamic area of the brain. I may have said that wrong. The area that is known to control growth hormone, as well as all the activities of many of the body's hormone-producing glands. Naturally, the environment will have a dramatic effect on the aging process, but all that the environmental influences will do is either speed up or slow down a genetically predetermined lifespan. In other words, aging and the changes in behavior that accompany it can be influenced by environmental factors, but the biological clock associated with death is genetic and therefore immutable. By improving the environment, we can prolong life, but there is a maximum lifespan for a dog that is written in his genes. So basically what I take away from that is, you know, we're all going to die. We already know that.
Well, you guys know that.
From the minute that we're born,
Yep.
you know, that clock starts ticking. You know, we're going to die at some point. But just like with us, if we have our nutrition, our health, our immune system, our habits, if all that is aligned to give our body and ourselves, you know, the best, you know, longevity, key to longevity as possible, we can kind of expand that a little bit. But right here, he's talking about environmental factors can influence the longevity of our dog's life as well. And I know for me at least, and I know you guys and everybody we work with, everybody we talk to, everybody that's into dogs, has a dog, you know, they want to prolong their dog's life. They want longevity in their dog's life. You know what I'm saying? So we need to make sure that we, as the owner, we're responsible for that dog. We need to set up our environment, to our house, our pack structure, what we're doing day in and day out, our routines, our health, nutrition. We need to set it up for longevity. You know, if a dog's overweight, guess what? That's not setting yourself up for longevity.
It's going to speed the clock
That's
up.
going to speed up the clock. Time is ticking. Tick-tock. You know what I'm
Here we
saying?
go
So
again.
we're going to speed it. You got me going now.
The paperwork.
We're gonna speed up that clock. You know what I'm saying? If my dog's just sitting in the house all day, tick-tock. You know, your dog needs vitamin D outside, being outside just like you do. You know, needs some sunlight, needs some air. You
Some
know,
exercise.
that's why we're out here. That's why we're out here for most of our podcasts out here. And
The air.
Yeah. The air got me.
exercise going.
Air.
Set up yourself, set up your environmentals and your food. Don't feed them old Roy.
Oh,
You
my
know?
God. A gravy train from the dollar store.
They have gravy train at the dollar store?
Yeah.
That's where they put all the recalls at.
Yeah. Couple of buckets per meal.
I was walking down there one time. I literally saw treats and I Googled them. And like that exact treat had been recalled like 3 years prior.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
was like, oh, man.
Yeah, know
Yeah.
what you're. I mean, just like you should with, like you said, just like you should know what you're putting into your own body. You should know what you're putting into your dog.
Right.
You know.
Nutrition's super important. That's why we're setting up some nutritionists to be on the podcast.
We are?
We are. We are.
Spoiler
Both canine and human.
Don't give it away.
You know, so
Don't
a
give
little
it away.
spoiler alert if you're listening. But anyway, so set up the environment, right? All right, next page, page 183. Let's see, third paragraph in, second sentence. With age, the blood vessels of the brain lose their elasticity and the lungs become less efficient. Remember, the brain takes almost 20% of the blood that the heart pumps out. The inefficiency of blood vessels and lungs mean that the brain becomes chronically starved of oxygen, and this has an effect on long-term memory. So again, he's just hashing out here, setting up your environment, setting up your routine, the way you operate for success, for longevity. Again, I'll go back to, you know, if the dog's overweight, if they're not eating good food, you know, you're going to reduce the efficiency that the body can operate. And he's here specifically talking about what the brain needs, because memory is linked to the brain and all that kind of stuff. You know, the brain's got to function so we can keep adapting, keep learning, keep doing new things, right? All right, couple sentences down in the book, it says, a consequence is that older dogs can become irritable when disturbed. They can become slow to obey commands, and they can ultimately have problems with orientation and learning, right? So he's talking about the effects of the brain on how the dog's operating. So, of course, you know, if you're old and you got a little puppy or a youngster messing with you, you can get a little bit more irritable than you could when you were younger. You know what I'm saying? You can also become slow because your joints, right? Your joints may be a little bit stiff, you know, and then learning and orientation, those can slow down as well. Just a part of life, you know, but that doesn't mean you can't learn. Doesn't mean you can't do things. And like we talked about with Doc Anthony when he was on our podcast, motion is lotion, not just for us, but for dogs as well. So, you know, if your dog seems like it's slow and you think it's better for them just to sit in the house on the couch or in their kennel, don't be tempted by it. Get them outside, get them moving around. They don't need to do bursts of energy like chasing things, but, you know, get them on a nice slow pace walk. Let them move around, hang out. You know what I'm saying? Just motion is lotion, baby. Keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Keep it moving and grooving.
Been like that
That's
one.
copyright right now.
So just to, if I can real quick, go back some at the top of the page here, just to put things a little bit into perspective. In a healthy young dog, information is conducted through the nervous system at around 225 miles per hour. In the elderly dog, this can slow down to perhaps 50 miles per hour. So like that's a pretty drastic difference there. So and I like that because it literally puts it into perspective. So you might think, okay, yeah, the elderly dogs think a little bit slower, but like that's drastically slower.
Absolutely,
you know?
yeah.
So,
And, you know, sometimes we deal with a lot of dogs in training that are slow to follow command.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we say? As long as they're showing us that they're moving towards it,
Right.
they're good to go. Let them take their time.
right.
You know, so older dogs have stiff joints.
Yeah.
They got stiff body parts. They got stiff muscles and tendons and all that kind of stuff. You know, let them take their time doing it.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
think
I'm
some
saying?
people can get, you know, they think like maybe their dog's testing them or something like
right.
that. You know, it's like, hey, we got to be fair as well.
Right.
So
Well, some dogs may test you, but
Sure.
you know, in a lot of cases, they're not trying to test you. They're just like, ugh, you know, it's like Chris making his noises.
yeah, every morning when I get out of
when
bed,
he gets when he starts moving, oh, my back.
and then I'm good to go.
for the average person dealing with like an elderly dog, that 250 to 50 ratio is like really good to know before you just assume your dog's senile,
Yeah.
or your dog's too stubborn, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Sure.
They just need a little more time, or a lot more time in that
Yeah.
ratio
Yeah.
to get
More
with the
time,
program.
more reps.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, back in the book. We're going to be moving to page 184, top sentence. Talking about how the brain controls or at least influences the aging process through its control of the body's hormones. And he also mentions that there seems to be a relationship between dopamine production and lifespan. He's talking about an experience in mice, but should also apply to other mammals as well. And we know that dopamine is that chemical that's released in our brain and our body that makes us feel good when we do something.
I like dopamine.
It's good. It's very nice. I'm addicted to it.
Yeah.
So,
Like everybody is.
like if
Yeah.
a dog is chasing a squirrel, it probably feels good. So it's
Yeah.
getting some dopamine. You know, if a dog's outside sniffing things and we have allowed them to do that, it probably feels good. You know what I'm saying? So allowing our dogs, opportunities to have those dopamine releases, can increase lifespan. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of dogs, you can teach them and condition them to have a dopamine release if we do training properly. Like if we're training in a rewards-based system, we got nice levels of engagement. Everything we're doing is fun for the dog. It feels good to the dog if we condition it properly, which means they're getting a dopamine release, even just being with us, working with us, doing obedience for us. So if we set up that relationship for success, especially when the dog's younger, and they're getting that dopamine release, that's gonna pay off in the long run. You know what I'm saying? You guys got anything to add to that?
Oh, good.
But yeah, starting off your training when the dogs are younger, good to go. You're going to set up yourself for success as time goes on. You're going to condition those dopamine releases for you, right?
Same thing in humans,
Yep.
You take the Penn State head coach. I can't remember his name. He was like super old, late 80s. Joe Paterno. Is that it? No, not Sandusky. No, Paterno. The head coach that got fired when all
Well, you're
that stuff
asking
went
us,
down.
Kevin.
You asked Ben, Kevin.
No, I know Sandusky. No. But like 3
I don't know
days after
sports.
he got released, he died.
Oh, really?
Because he no longer enjoyed life, because his coaching was like the only thing that he enjoyed doing. And so, lost that connection, then he was just gone,
Holy cow. Yeah, I can do it for you for sure.
Really.
What?
He's losing
Ben's
it.
losing
What's he
it
doing?
again.
Ben's losing because the head coach was fired for
Oh, my
bad
God.
reasons.
I don't know anything about sports, so hopefully someone can relate to that analogy. But yes.
They might have to
Alright.
cut that part out, actually.
Yeah, keep it in. Keep it in. Keep that part in there. I don't know what's going on.
I don't understand.
Me neither.
Okay.
Back to the dogs. Back to the book. All right. So anyway, the author here talks about how the dog's senses change. The dog's hearing changes. The eyes change. Taste is affected. But it does say that smell is a sensory ability that lasts the longest, which is important because, we're going to be doing a puppy series on this podcast as well. And you'll find that smell is their first sense, but also smell is their last sense, which means it's pretty important.
Must be.
You know what I'm saying? Actually, Kevin's training a elderly dog right now that's lost some hearing. She's elderly, right?
Oh, yeah. Beth
Some,
is,
some hearing?
Beth.
Beth
Or
is
all?
8. It's all.
Yeah.
She lost all her hearing.
Yeah.
She used to be able to hear. She don't hear no more, but she's a good freaking dog.
Yeah.
She's definitely got the smell going.
Oh, yeah.
She's definitely got
She
the
can
smeller. Some days it's questionable if she can see.
Yeah, I was thinking when they told me that she hears with the food's open, maybe she just smells it in the air.
Could be.
Because they say when one sense fades, the other one gets even stronger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dogs already have a crazy heightened sense
Yeah.
of smell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My key takeaway here, smell continues to pop up as the most important sense from the dog, which we know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, page 185. Second sentence. Back in the book here. The immediate conclusion is that healthy and active dogs will experience fewer or slower senile changes to the brain than will unhealthy and inactive dogs. So what's that mean? Motion is lotion. Motion is lotion, baby. Get groovy with it. You know what I'm saying? So keep your dog healthy. Exercise them both mentally and physically every day, starting from the time you get them. If you get a puppy, start it out right. If you get a middle-aged dog or an older dog, start the healthy lifestyle. Get that nutrition right. Get the energy right. Get your exercise right. You know what I'm saying? That's going to lead to longevity. you know, fewer or slower senile changes to the brain, which is going to help us with that longevity
Those are
and
the
help the dog.
layers to the onion of the longevity.
Here we go.
Motion is
I
layers.
like how you brought the onion back
Peeling
in.
apart the
I've
onion.
been sitting here for about 30 seconds waiting to work that in.
All right, so then he says in the next sentence, exercising your senses delays the natural deterioration of aging. So that right there, you know, as a dog owner, as a dog trainer, as a dog handler, should be very important, that you need to make sure you're exercising all of the senses. Hearing. How can you exercise hearing? Taking the dog out to a distracting place, like Lowe's, Home Depot, farmer's market, something like that. There's lots of noises. You know, that dog's going to be listening. You know what I'm saying? So that's one way you could do it. How could you exercise sight? Same thing. Take them out, variety of places. You know, how could you exercise taste? Well, you know, a couple hot dogs here, a couple Happy Howies there. You know, a couple.
I think most people are getting plenty of exercise in the taste department.
Oh yeah.
How was that cupcake, by the way?
What?
You had a
You gonna
cupcake.
call me out? You gonna call me out, Kevin? Really?
You had a cupcake?
Oh, mine was good.
I might have had one.
Wow.
It's literally a container right there.
It's on the
Really?
ground. I threw it on the ground to try to hide it from the viewers, but
And so then we got smell. You know, you can exercise smell by allowing your dog to have time to smell around freely, sniff things, go on little trails, whatever.
play scent games.
Scent. You can also play games with them. Play scent games with them. You can teach them that you're going to hide something. They have to use their nose to search it and find it. You know, you could do that with food, with toys, whatever. So, but you got to get creative with exercising the dog's senses so that you're promoting longevity, delaying the natural deterioration of aging. Right? You guys got anything else on that?
Yeah, I mean, just like think this goes back almost to the wolf dynamics. You know, like these senses are instinctual things that need to be exercised, like when we talked about in that episode. You know, so by not exercising them, obviously that's going to have an adverse effect on aging.
Absolutely.
Well, it gave me a whole new perspective because I think I have the oldest dogs here.
How old are your dog?
Wally is about to turn 11, and Lulu just turned 8.
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean,
how old is
Vader's like 7 or 8.
So
Okay,
he's
so he's
almost
up there, too.
11.
So with them, you know, with Lulu being hospice and Wally being older, you know, you want to say, oh, they enjoy being on the couch. You just kind of want to leave them there all day. You go potty, you come back in, we might do a little obedience, you know, that's about it. But now this has given me a whole new perspective, especially with her being hospice. You know, I could, you know, have that longevity if I exercise her instead of let her be lethargic, you know, lazy.
You also got to be careful with her, though, because the heart condition.
Right.
So
Right.
you got to take
Right.
it into account what
Well,
that
I don't
individual
run.
does.
Right.
Yeah,
Obviously,
but
with
even
any
a
of
walk,
this-
you got to be
Yeah,
careful.
it's got to be
you know? You gotta be
definitely
careful.
short.
Yeah.
But, you know, you could do, like, you know, small increments a day. You know,
Right.
Obviously, you're not going to overdo it.
Absolutely.
With her, she shows you clear signs when she's tired.
Right.
So
Yeah, obviously with any of this stuff that we're talking about, you know, you got to take your vets, whatever your vet is telling you medically is going on, take that into account as well because that plays a factor.
Absolutely. All right. Page 185. 2 paragraphs down. About halfway through the paragraph. We're talking about poor health and lack of mental and physical activity are controllable factors. We control them. You know what I'm saying? We as the owner. We can alter the decay of memory by providing our dogs with mental stimulation.
We've said that before.
How many times have we said this? Everybody we work with, every day. Every day. Stimulate your mind.
That's right.
Solve some brain games. Get them thinking. Get them working. Get yourself thinking. Get yourself working.
Oh, turn it down,
So I'm
Ben.
reading
Turn it
this
down.
book right now.
he's quick. He's working those knobs over
I
there.
know.
I'm keeping Ben's mentally mentally stimulated. All right, but poor health, the lack of mental and physical activity are controllable factors. This is the issue with a lot of dogs in America. Their owners are being lazy. They're not providing the mental and physical exercise that their dog needs. You know, so we got to make sure we're doing that as responsible dog owners and handlers. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see. A couple sentences down. Actually, yeah, a couple sentences down. Back in the book here it says, if we stimulate their minds, we can alter the aging process and make life more interesting for them in their latter years. The brain is built on instructions from genes, but it is then modified by events throughout life. Even the ultimate behavior changes of aging can be altered by improving the dog's environment. So he keeps hashing out here that you as the owner, you as the handler, can make changes in the aging process, continue with longevity by improving the environment, providing mental, physical exercise, exercising the senses, making sure that your dog is stimulated on their level every day, right? What do you guys got to add?
No.
Good.
Nothing to add. Okay.
I mean, Robert Fogle knows his stuff.
Yeah. He's good to go. All right, next page 186. We're going to go a little bit down. Let's see, second paragraph towards the bottom there. I highlighted here where he says, the dog's dullness, lethargy, and inappetence all occur before his immune system has a chance to get into action. So we're talking about dogs that are getting sick, illnesses, some signs, they're going to be dull, they're going to be lethargic, and inappetence, meaning they're going to stop eating possibly before the immune system has the chance to get into action. So we may see this with our dog and start freaking out. We need to calm down, understand this dog may be getting like a head cold or, something going on, but they're, no reason to freak out. You know what I'm saying? We got there.
Nature.
Something. All right, so then the next paragraph down, the first sentence says, one of the most common responses to infection is a rise in body temperature, right? So we're just, again, detailing, dogs getting sick, some of the side effects. He says that this is brought on by the release of a substance called interleukin-1 from certain white blood cells. Where's Samantha?
Where's Samantha?
Who's our scientist?
That was Chinese to me.
I don't know these
Mandarin,
medical terms. All right, so that we're going to bring that up later, right? Next paragraph down, they're talking about the common behavior change of the ill dog is loss of appetite, and it has been assumed that this is caused by his fever, when in fact it is shown that interleukin-1, which is what we just talked about, is being released from the white blood cells, induces a loss of appetite, if you're interested in getting deep down the rabbit hole on that stuff.
I'm actually dealing with this with Wally right now. He's been skipping his dinner meals. He'll eat breakfast, he looks at dinner, won't eat it, and normally he just devours.
Yeah.
Oh,
we know Wally.
Oh, yeah. So I was checking him out the other day, and I always heard, I don't know if there's a medical back into this, if their ears are hot, they have a fever. Touch his ears, they feel a little hot, letting his immune system do his thing. A couple more days, probably going to go to the vet.
Yeah. If it continues on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're in tune with what they're doing. A lot of people aren't in tune, Or they just freak out, you know what I'm saying? See if the body's going to work through it.
I mean, it's weird, if you don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden something happens out of the norm. It's our thing to freak out and run to the emergency vet or whatever.
Or try to force food into your dog's mouth.
Or call him at 3 o'clock in the morning while he's throwing up blood in his kennel. Because he got into some cayenne pepper.
I'm surprised he answered.
He didn't.
Oh, okay.
If you would have waited an hour for him, I would have answered.
I called him later on. I think it was like 6. I finally called him again.
All right, page 187. Second paragraph, it says, it would seem then that the state of the dog's mind when he is ill, the dullness, listlessness, lethargy, apparent depression, is in fact a genetically programmed adaptive process to help him overcome his illness. A couple sentences down. The dog's problem is that his body can't differentiate between the less serious and more serious illnesses, and his response to both is the same. A couple sentences down. The behavior of the sick dog should be respected. He should be allowed to remain still and should be kept warm. All right, so we talked about the elderly dog, how we don't want them to be still. We want them to be up. Motion is lotion, baby. We want them to be up, moving around, right, stimulating their senses. But in this case, now he has laid out the picture for us for a dog that is ill or getting sick, right? Gave us some signs for that, and he's saying, in this case, let them chill out a little bit. Let them break the norm because their body's trying to fight off this illness or sickness just like ours does. You know what I'm saying? Kevin's been off for like a week.
Let's say when Chad wouldn't let me come to work.
Well, Chad won't listen to his body, though. He'll try to keep working when he needs the rest.
I know my body.
I walk in Thursday, he's like, go home. And he calls me on Saturday. No, you sound bad.
Stay home. That's because he didn't want to get sick.
Let them rest. You know what I'm saying? Let the dog rest. Let him work through it. And we've had dogs in training before get a little bit sick. Maybe we don't know what it is. Maybe they get a head cold or something like that. If it's weird, we'll talk to the owner and we'll just say, hey, we recommend that they chill out, take it easy for a couple days. We'll keep you updated, if there's something weird going on. If we can't get a hold of you, we'll just take them to the vet, or we can go to the vet whenever you want, that kind of stuff. But, we let them know, like, hey, we've seen this before. Let them rest for a little bit, see if they're going to be okay, or if they need some further medical attention. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys got anything to add to that?
Yeah. It's, the body knows what to do. You know, just let it do its thing.
You got to give it a chance.
Yeah.
It's also a good reason to keep it healthy.
That's right.
Keep it right.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
So everybody was like, as soon as I started getting sick, they're like, go to the doctor, go to the doctor. I'm like, we have immune systems for a reason.
Yeah.
Hey, what did I tell you, boys?
Drink water.
And?
Hydrate.
And?
I can't remember what else. Rest.
Work
Nope.
out.
Nope. And? And? What else did I tell you? To drink
Drink.
Pedialyte.
Oh, yeah.
Pedialyte.
Drink your Pedialyte.
Oh, yeah.
Ben knows the special
That's
medicine that
definitely-
I have.
that's
but,
definitely good.
Did he whisper Pedialyte over there?
No, he whispered.
Yeah. No. Family friendly.
Anyway, back to the book.
2 parts you're going to have to cut out.
Yeah.
All right, page 191. Does anybody have anything between that and 191? All right, page 191. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 paragraphs down. Yeah, if you're sick, drink some water, drink some Pedialyte. Take it easy.
Honestly,
on yourself.
hydration is
Get
like
some
the
sleep.
best thing.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Pedialyte, Advanced Care Plus.
Oh, yeah. That's the
Good to
good
go.
stuff.
Half
I might
gallon of orange juice and some emergency.
double emergency.
By the way, you can OD on vitamin C. For those of you that did
not
not know.
recommended.
Not recommended.
Pedialyte. Pedialyte solves it.
I'm going to go get some right after this
Get some
episode.
Pedialyte.
Some in the
It's in the fridge.
I know.
In the kennel.
I
Good to
know.
go. All right. 191. 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph. Because we have taken the dog into our homes and our hearts, we have the opportunity to observe his behavior more closely than we observe any other animal species. This is a double-edged sword, for we often make the mistake of interpreting his behavior in human rather than canine terms. We forget his ancestry.
Not even often. I'd probably put always in that.
Always. And we talk about it in every podcast episode, it seems like. Don't think of your dog in the same terms as a human, because they're a dog. They have different things going on. But he just hit it again right here. Don't make that mistake.
And it
You
is
know what
hard
I'm
to
saying?
break that habit at first.
Yeah.
It's hard. You see a
Yep.
dog and be like, oh, they look sad. No.
No.
They're depressed if they're gone. No.
Next sentence here. In many ways, dog behavior is remarkably similar to human behavior, and we can probably learn something about ourselves by observing some of the untarnished activities of the dog's mind. The fact remains that the dog's mind works in its own specific ways and with objectives that are not necessarily obvious to us. By understanding these differences, we can become more responsible for our pet's behavior, at the same time make their lives more stimulating and fulfilling. So again, that's the final paragraph of the entire book, and he just wrapped it all up again. We talked about the elderly. Keep them moving. Motion is lotion, baby. Keep the mind moving. Keep the senses stimulated. Keep the body stimulated, right? But do not make the mistake of interpreting dog behavior in human terms instead of canine terms. You know what I'm saying? That allows us to give them what they need, provide for their basic instincts as a dog, but also enjoy them as our pets as a human. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, bottom line, old dogs can still learn new tricks. You know what I'm saying?
We answered the old question.
We answered the question. You guys got any input or anything else to touch on?
I mean, I think we hit it. I mean, that's good stuff. I mean, the bottom line, like he says in the last sentence there, you're responsible for your dog's behavior. Be responsible. If you take on that commitment to take on a dog, you are responsible for your dog. Make sure they're living a good life.
Absolutely.
Something a lot of people don't think about either. You know what I mean? You see a cute new puppy, you're overwhelmed. You're like, man, I want that puppy. Get that puppy. Well, now you got to worry about training.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
maintenance.
a 10, 15, sometimes
Schedule.
18-year commitment.
Right, Bunny.
Yeah.
Getting that potty training in.
Yeah.
Good to go.
He knew what he was getting into a little bit, though.
I
Yeah.
tried to tell him.
You taught him into it.
He was trying to get an old lazy dog, and you were like, get this fresh puppy.
And you want an old lazy dog? I could have gave you Wally, man.
But anyway, yeah, so wrapping this up, this is a great book for anybody that's interested in learning more about the dog's mind. It's super sciencey at the beginning. Chris, we almost lost him on this one at the beginning.
Almost, you did.
We lost him on some of the sciencey stuff, but this book's going to cover. This is just such a good book. Let me go through the chapter overlay. It's going to cover the anatomy and physiology of the dog's mind, talking about genetics, the brain, the senses. It's going to talk about the psychology of the dog's mind, early learning, later learning, social behavior, talking about aggression. We did a podcast on one of the chapters on dominance, all that kind of stuff. So great resource for those looking to learn more, looking to read, looking to stimulate their own minds. Develop their own minds, learn a little bit.
We need to do a top 5 book
Top
episode.
5 book. That's a good one. Write it down, buddy. Write it down. Top 5 book episode. Good to go. But also, just like with the dogs, with us too. He knows.
He just played with his phone.
He knows. He's good, boys. But also, just like with the dogs, us too. We're big on this. We talk about it all the time. Be healthy. Take care of your body. Nutritiously. Exercise. You know me. I'm into flexibility now. Flexibility, exercise. I'm also getting into feeder workouts. Right? Also getting into some other stuff I haven't told you guys about yet. But
You don't have to do all that. You could probably just go hit the gym
But,
3
you
times
know.
a week.
Stay
light
active.
cardio,
Go walk.
Oh,
Go
no,
walk.
no,
You
no,
know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
laying it
Stretch
out for
before
you.
bed, stretch when you wake up, drink some water.
Yeah, I'm just laying it out for you guys.
Listen,
you know?
best thing if you don't know where
go.
to get started, best thing you can do is just get outside.
Get up at 4 a.m. and just get after it.
Don't even have
Good
to be
go.
4 a.m. Just
Preferably
start
when the
walking.
sun's out so you can get those vitamins like we are now.
Obviously. So, but yeah, I mean, take care of yourself. Take care of your nutrition. Don't eat out every day. Eat out maybe.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm just looking in your
yeah,
direction.
No, you like whipped your head at him.
Eat out, maybe every couple of days, couple times a week, have some chicken and rice.
I'm waiting on the rice cooker.
Get some chicken and rice going, try to sharpen in your diet, that kind of stuff. Nutrition. Take your Jocko supplements. He hasn't sponsored us, yes, but maybe one day he'll sponsor us.
Probably not.
Please have Chad on your show if you're listening.
Probably not.
Actually, don't do that. He'd never stop talking about it.
But anyway, make sure you're keeping your body in check, your mind in check, keep your dog too. The good thing about having a dog is you can consolidate. You can get exercise at the same time you're exercising your dog by taking him on a walk, taking him on a run, bike ride, that kind of stuff.
I mean, a lot of times getting a dog is the catalyst to
Right.
get yourself into that
Right.
habit
Absolutely.
and stuff.
So
So
then that alleviates, bad mindsets we may have.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know?
yeah,
And then also, like, challenging your dog's mind may challenge your mind too.
Yeah.
Because you're having to think about, how am I going to challenge their mind?
yeah.
You're setting up these scenarios, setting up these games. Maybe you send them to training, they come back. Now you got to run them through more scenarios, that kind of stuff. Continue with your training protocols. So you're just going to keep it going, But
Yeah.
motion is lotion, baby.
Motion is
All
lotion.
day.
Keep it going.
That'd be the title of the podcast.
All right,
Ben?
you guys got anything to wrap it up with?
No, man.
No.
Ben?
Good to go.
All right, we're good. We appreciate you guys. If you guys have any input for us, let us know. Otherwise, see you next time.
Later.